Once you grasp this truth that I'm about to tell you, it'll set you free from religion. It'll set you free from parents and moms and family and governments and police, everybody. It'll set you free. And it's simply this: you are divine. God has exploded in a Crab Nebulae explosion, and he has come and manifested himself as billions of people. And you're one of you, and so am I. When I look at you, I see God. When you look at me, you see God. That's why God's name is I Am. I am God. It doesn't mean that me, God. It means I am. When you say I am God, you have to say, what is God's name? I am. What? I am God. Oh my God, then all the people, Christians run around, I told you they think they're God. I don't think anything on the side. No, Jesus Christ said, the scripture says you are God, and the scripture cannot be broken. So he said it.
Yeah, like I'm not third album.
Peace, family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I am going to be discussing the Taurus lunar eclipse happening at 5 degrees on October 28th. This is the last eclipse from the Taurus-Scorpio cycle. These eclipses have been taking place since 2021, and so it'll be a really good time to go back to the first eclipse and throughout the entire eclipses and listen to those videos and see, how this played out for you. Are there more things that you're learning? Are there things that you're learning? Um, just to see how well you are aligned. Full moons highlight things that we didn't see before. Um, Taurus rules the money you make, what's in your bank account, support, budgets, savings, values, um, self-esteem, resources, debt, nature, growth, life, simplicity, less is more, frugal, working smarter, not harder, and stability. Um, and Scorpio rules finances, what you owe, joint finances, banking and credit, investments as well. Debt is actually more Scorpio than Taurus, to be quite frank. Even um Scorpio can be like insurances or government money or bills too. So these eclipses taught us to get back to the basics through a lack of something. So maybe it was a lack of self-esteem, a lack of values, a lack of knowledge on savings and budgeting, and the importance of those things for longevity, or security, or stability for that matter. This could have been a lack of self-esteem, a lack of support and resources, and even a lack of confidence. Um, or like not being able to ask for help, like struggling to ask for those things. Whereas now you could be at a better place where you feel more confident enough to do so because you have some values now and you understand that asking for help isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's more so about, how and what you're asking for that makes the difference. Especially with Venus and Virgo, learning how to be of service to others is what Venus is focused on in the sign of Virgo. Um, and so this could even be you asking someone else for help in that way. But yeah, this is, asking for support. Um, you want to ask yourself, what have you overcome? What did you gain from any problems or situations or lack? How your values have changed, what is your relationship to physical possessions like food, natural resources, money, and how do you think about those things now? Do you feel like you're defined by what you possess or what you own or what you don't own? Do those things make you who you are? In a sense, yeah, but again, you can learn how to change those things. Um, Especially again with Venus and Virgo, it's helping us heal and overcome asking for help and learning how to save and budget, why those things are valuable, and how that relates to building stability and things of that nature. Um, and then you have Jupiter conjunct this eclipse. So this is about believing in yourself. Jupiter does bring in blessings, and so you can receive opportunities, resources, support, and whatever it is that you're trying to build. You can feel as though you're about to receive a blessing, but it's delayed because Jupiter's still retrograde, right? And it'll go retrograde. I think it's like 2 days before January. And so I just say you'll start to receive these blessings in January, especially with Mercury going retrograde, even though it doesn't have anything to do with Jupiter, but still that energy is going to be slowed. And so there are things that we're reassessing, rethinking, wrapping up, and just checking in, right? That's what you can look at retrogrades as, a checking in process. And retrograde Jupiter is a little bit bigger than that. It's, again, making sure you're not being overcome by greed, or over optimism, staying grounded and realistic, not overspending, not overeating, not overgiving, and making sure there's some kind of balance in the decisions that you're making and that they are realistic, especially with Saturn being in Pisces and Jupiter being the ancient ruler of Pisces. Once Saturn goes direct, we'll start to get more pieces of what we may not be realistic about. I also think this is going to have a lot to do with, this inflation and more immigrants coming over, especially now with the war and America helping them, helping out with the war and things of that nature on a global level. Whatever issues or problems that are going to come from that, I think it's going to affect the people who are living here. So living costs are going to change and rise, and things of that nature. Um, we can have problems with being able to afford the things that we need, like resources. Whenever I think of Taurus, I always think of the triangle. You know how the needs assessment is like, do you have what you need to survive? Right? Taurus is about survival, much like Aries, but maybe Aries is being able to survive the war, while Taurus is about being able to survive in life. And so this really is connected to the family unit, which we know barely exists anymore. And so going back to basics is how are you rebuilding your family in a way where they become resourceful, the people that you have living with you, the people who are closest to you. This is basic economics, right? Anytime we're talking about Taurus, we're talking about economics and building wealth slowly, not the get rich quick schemes or, things of that nature. Although I do think finding more innovative, creative ways to get money to survive is going to become a lot more popular because um, you know, what are they saying now that people don't the whole idea of working 50 years at a job, saving for your pension and all those other things is almost non-existent. It's not being talked about much. America is very much in debt and things like that. So a lot of those things are going to be changed and reformed with laws, rules, and regulations, Jupiter rules, legalities. And so I think we're going to hear more about these kinds of changes and how do you get financially stable? How do you save now with those types of things? And it could change the way we get loans or who qualifies for loans and things of that nature, with the whole helping out with the war and banks closing and, you know, um, things of that nature. And so, a lot of things are going to change or have already changed. It's just, nobody's really talking about it. We might hear more about that in January as well when Jupiter goes direct, but just keeping it in the back of your mind. Of course, everybody's goal isn't to get rich, although this isn't about getting rich, this is about stability and wealth. But, that needs assessment is always going to be the first thing that you have to address. Do you have your basic needs to survive? And then the next line is, emotional stability and support and, counselors, coaches, um, things of that nature. Who's in your basic community around you who can support you, friends and family and things of that nature. And then the next line and the next, right? And so addressing all those things is never going to change, even if the economy does. And so the reason why it's important to have wealth or to grow wealth is to say, for example, America shuts down. Well, who are you going to go to receive benefits, to receive services, to get your basic needs met, right? And so you build these things for rainy days. That's what we call it in the financial world, being prepared for rainy days. And so having some type of plan around that is all of what Taurus is about: security and planning around building wealth outside of the confines of the system, basically, right? And so a lot of people might have been dealing with these things, or this has come up in some way, shape, or form to show the importance of building these things. And so now you're just assessing, well, where are you at with that planning now? How much more do you need to plan now? And how important is that to you on your value system? And that brings in um, confidence and self-esteem and, all those things. So, um, and where we're at with that now is I think we're going to see eventually over time is that we're going to start looking at wealth differently. Um, we're going to start looking at freedom differently. We're going to start looking at money and banking differently because of all these changes that are going to come up from what's going on out in the world or within our country and things of that nature. And so we'll no longer, value will no longer be determined by what you wear, or what you own, or what you possess, or the numbers in a bank account. It'll be it will be determined by the people right? Jupiter's going to move into Gemini. Gemini's siblings, neighbors, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, um, grocery stores, the people who are in your neighborhood, in your immediate neighborhood. Um, and then Venus in the South Node is about coaches, astrologers, even Venus in Virgo, coaches, astrologers, people who can help you with your health, farmers. Where do you get your natural goods from? Um, and building community around those things. And that's your support system. Who are those people that you're going to go to get your needs assessments met, right? Where are you going to keep your money? Where are you going to get your loans? Do you want to buy a house? What's it going to take to do that now? Are you building your credit to get a loan, or taking um, your pension or 401k out early just to get a home. These types of things might be necessary in order for you to meet your goals with the way things are changing and or are going to change. And even work is going to change on a drastic level to the point where people are going to be more entrepreneurs and self-employed because a lot of employment's pretty non-existent, um, which is going to be interesting because I do think in January we'll be asked to work a little bit more because this is how they get over their inflation. Pretty much they'll be stealing from the everyday people, which is why they bring immigrants here, by the way. I did talk about this in my last tourist video, which should be at the top of my page as soon as you come in. That should be the video playing. So I don't mean to be repetitive, but that's just what Taurus energy rules, is to have, uh, um, it's about getting immigrants over here, scaring the crap out of them, saying, if you don't follow our system and do what we say, we'll send you back to your country. And obviously, they don't want to go back there. They think they're coming here to get an American dream or the opportunity to even grow or build wealth in that kind of way. And I don't think it's going to be the same. I don't think it is the same. It's just not being spoken about. And maybe it is. I shouldn't even say that because I don't watch TV or the news or any of that crap. The shit's depressing. But the housing market sucks right now. Everything's kind of all in disarray, which is another myth too, to be quite frank. But you know, they need the immigrants to come here to uphold their system and keep them in power because the people here already know the truth and what's going on from trying to put these things into play or implementing these kinds of goals and not succeeding for one reason or another. And so we're already privy to their games. They know they can't fool us or put the blinders over our eyes, at least some of us, not everybody, but for the most part, the majority of the world is pretty hip to it. And so, you know, um, even with the war, it helps. They get money from that. There's big money in war and things of that nature. So that this is their way of getting more money to bring inflation down. And it's president election year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really pay much attention to that too, but I'm pretty sure that is a thing. And so these things are necessary so they can look like gods and heroes and say, hey, we're gonna give you some money and we're gonna help you in some kind of way to um you know get us to kind of like not pay attention to what's going on or what's not working and what they're avoiding fixing that needs terribly to be fixed. But I just don't think it's going to work out as well as it has for them in years past, just because their end of rule is very, very near, right? And so, yeah. So a lot of those things that are going on are really going to affect the goals and things that you have going on, but don't believe the hype either. They are very much um, power and control strategies um, to kind of keep us, downtrodden and not wanting us to grow and things like that. So, um, yeah. So this can be about asking how we can have more. This can be, I'll be careful rather for being over optimistic, indulgent, overspending, because prices are already up. This could also bring in cravings for romance, sweets, or the need for, again, family, and wanting to bring family together and celebrating because we are wrapping up a pretty big cycle, despite the things that aren't going well. Some people have accomplished a lot, and you want to celebrate those things as you should. Taurus is just saying, let's not overdo it, which might be really hard with Jupiter and Taurus right now. Because inflation and interest rates are going up, banks are closing, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some issues in the market. Yeah. And so, I always talk about this because I really, really love talking about economics. Everybody knows I'm a huge Dr. Boyce Watkins fan, and I think that he lays these foundations down in a way that are very understandable. So again, if you're not following him, you should totally go follow him, especially if these are goals that you're trying to work on. I think he gives really good examples and advice on how to do these things. And so obviously this is again about making sure if you do work and you want to have your own business one day, that you are putting money in your 401k, right? And checking in on that frequently enough to the point where okay, I can take a loan out on that and do whatever it is you need to do with it to get you to not have to work. That's the ultimate goal is to not have to work. And so you might need something, you might need to invest in something that's going to give you money back or ways that you can make money while you're sleeping. So that's obviously investing as well, learning how to invest, becoming an investor. Um, and having a system for that. What is that system going to be? Um, and then you can use technology to leverage those things on many different levels. It really just depends on where you're at with this. And because I like business, I'm going to speak from a business perspective, but try to, find your storyline in whatever it is I'm saying. But using technology to expand and also work while you're sleeping. That's what technology is good for. Outside of that, the AI and all that other stuff, unfortunately, what are you gonna do? I do think that a lot of social media platforms are gonna get a lot more stricter and more um regulations and things. I actually think they're going to start making us pay to use social media soon, but um in that way you got to make sure you have more than one social media page just to have a backup. Um more than one website, more than, just having multiple ways that people can stay in contact with you, because if anything is to happen to one place, you'll have a backup somewhere else. Those things are very, very, very important. Um, and then obviously entrepreneurship. And all entrepreneurship is creating opportunity. So again, this doesn't have to be about being self-employed or having your own business. This can also be about having two jobs or three jobs or a full-time and a part-time job. It really just depends on whatever it is you're trying to create or build. And for what reasons are you doing those things for? Um, yeah. And owning a business, by the way, does equate to investment. So if you're investing in Tesla, you are part owner of Tesla. If you're investing, that's not working, but it's still paying you back in some way. And so I strongly suggest that you read up and study and really research real knowledge, not from a lot of these people who really are trying to take from you and who've kind of implanted these negative mindsets about investing. Trying to get over that, get past that is going to be very, very important moving forward in the future, because America is going to have some very dark days. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but that's life. Nothing stays great forever. Everybody has their downturn, and America's is real, real soon, real soon. Okay. And so making sure that you're prepared for that. And so knowing how to create opportunities and building on that so that you're still, again, that needs assessment, that bottom line is being met. Um, And then relationships. So, the importance of healing relationships so that you can build with your family, because I probably don't have to tell you guys, if you've ever tried to build something with your family or people closest to you, it probably didn't work out because we are all operating out of trauma and past issues and things that we've never really gotten over, past, or through. And that doesn't leave room for team building and relationships to be created, or even connecting and socializing in a healthy way. It breaks us up, which is very much another part of what they're trying to do here with all these changes that they're making, is about divide and conquer, because to you, it doesn't benefit you if you're working by yourself and you're having that "I can do it by myself" mentality. It brings on more work for you, right? But to them, if you are in this broken mentality, well, now they got two, three, four, five, six people working their ass off trying to get to this American dream, right? And so Taurus is like, think smarter, work harder, not work smarter, not harder. And the way that you do that is through team building. That is the ultimate goal, is to grow and diverse so that you can be giving out jobs to your children. They can work for you. Your family can work for you, and build on that ideology where everybody becomes, some kind of wealth or opportunities, right? Um, and so building relationships is going to be very, 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 very important, especially now with Venus in the South Node for the next 18 months. Well, yeah, anyway. And so that's another thing that we're going to be working on, which emphasizes that Virgo being in Venus at this time is about healing old trauma, old wounds, old thoughts and ideologies, beliefs that aren't getting you to the opportunities that you need to build the dream that you were trying to build, right? And so you have to break free from those things first. So working on healing is going to be very important, and holding people accountable who want access to your life, your energy, your support, that they have to do the same thing, because now Taurus is about bartering, or just business relationships in general. Meaning, if you go to the store, you're getting something for the money that you're giving them. Even if it's actual bartering where you have a product that somebody needs and they have a product you need. Venus is all about equal give and take, right? And so this is relations we're talking about now, and what it means to buy from somebody else, and which is why it's going to be important that you're going to be checking out your grocery stores. Who are they? What are they about? What are their values? And making sure you're buying from people who align with who you are, so you're helping the right people grow, as well as building your relationships with siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. This is definitely going to be a family opportunity for families to come back together. Again, Taurus is, in Vedic astrology, Taurus is the fourth house, which is home, family, generational things that you pass down, which is the possessions and what you pass down from generation to generation, right? And so Taurus wants to go back there, right? Because that feels safe and secure to Taurus. And so keeping in mind that even though Jupiter's in Gemini for the next year, um, but after that, after Gemini is Cancer. So this theme is going to come back up quite strongly for people to build with their family, back to the basics, right? Back to our family origins, and our ancestral line, our bloodline, and the meaning and values behind those things, the beliefs behind those things, our morals, and things of that nature. So that's going to be another really big year. Um, and then delegation, which goes back to kind of what I was saying. Delegation is so that you don't have to do everything with this mindset. I can do it all by myself. Or, how you have single parents being two parents working and building the dream and taking care of the household. That's too much. And so now your health is declined. You're probably feeling defeated, and not really wanting to put in the work or too tired to put in the work. Um, and so will be asked to learn how to delegate the responsibilities of the dream to other people who are closest to you, who you're partnering with, and things of that nature. This is still talking about the family unit. A business is nothing but the family unit. We just don't talk about it like that anymore. And so obviously a lot of people don't have that, and some people don't want it, and that's fine. That's why it's called then relations. So outside of the family unit, again, it goes back to who are you buying from? What stores do you frequent? Why do you frequent with them? What farmers are you using? And you know, things of that nature. Who are you doing business with? And whomever they are, it should be somebody who's giving you something back. There needs to be some kind of exchange. Venus does rule the workplace and what it means to have great customer service and really nurture and cherish those things. And teamwork. It's really what it's all about, to socialize, to attend social events and things of that nature, to connect with one another, which goes back to social media. That is a form of being able to do that, but it also needs to be in person. I also think that's another thing that's going to change in January big time, is that people are going to be asked to be more in nature and out in person, because those things are very important. As nice as it is to have social media and be able to communicate through technology, it's best to have human to human contact. Um, yeah, so building a network, pretty much, a network of where and how you can delegate responsibility so that you're not overworked. Yeah. So, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.